What is up, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. It's Tuesday. I'm taking off my sleeve. Gotta fix the camera a little bit. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's get out of here, guys. Pretty good day. Tuesdays better than yesterday, so I think I'm going off of that. And it's not as hot. The sun's not blazing me, so that's also nice. Oop. Oh man, I've had a headache all day. Well, it's been pretty low up since the afternoon, or since the morning, since I got here, because I did take some medicine. But in the morning, I don't know if I just didn't sleep well, but I got up with a headache, and I was like, oh, maybe it'll go away. But truthfully, I knew if it wasn't gonna go away, and especially with me working and not drinking as much as I should, I would end up being dehydrated and making it worse for myself. So I realized I should take some medicine. So I did take some medicine. It's better than what I would assume would be the alternative of me not having medicine and having a headache. So yeah, this is great. Life's pretty good. I didn't get any homework done because I had some unexpected plans happen to me yesterday. Nothing bad, but change of plans all of a sudden that I had to do, and it was a lot of effort out of me. So it was definitely something once I was done with around like 7, kind of 6, 7, I was just tired. And I was already really tired yesterday. I don't know why. Just yesterday I felt really tired. I don't know if I had a lack of nutrients. So I was just, already in a bad place from the beginning of the day, and having that long day and then coming back home and having to deal with something I had to deal with. Yeah, all that kind of just summed up together, and I was really tired. So, whoa. Okay. So, yeah, here we are. I feel better. I definitely want to tackle homework right away. I like getting out of the way because I can choose not to do it, so I like that. But given that option, given that mentality, it feels a lot better coming into it or waking up to it, because I'm just like, oh, I have to do it today. It's not like on a Sunday and waking up, I'm like, oh, okay, it's like when you wake up, you obviously don't know what's happening, right? You're just waking up, you're like, okay, you're booting up, right? So it's like, oh, it's Sunday, work, or I work. Obviously this all happens within like a second or a couple seconds, but anyways, yeah, on a Sunday, I don't want to wake up and be like, oh yeah, it's Sunday, I can chill, and then I'll be like, oh, I got homework to do, and it's like, okay, well, I gotta put time for that, but oh, I got this to do as well, and then before you know it, I'm doing homework super late in the afternoon, and it's just horrible. So I want to avoid the have-tos. I want to say I'm choosing to. Like, I'm gonna do this today because I can, and if I don't do all of it, or I have something happen to me, drop on me, change of plans, and I'll do that. I can be like, okay, I can put this aside, and then if I'm working on it throughout the week as early as I can, then it'll give me a better likelihood of not having to deal with it later in a time where I would be busy. So yeah, not bad. I think I've had this itch to start a business, but realistically, I couldn't put enough time into it that I would want to. So I'm gonna just focus on developing a skill and then go from there. Because developing a skill, which for me would be software development, developing a skill would put me in a better place than other. That could be anything as well, or any other skill that's worth the value. Like a trade as well would work too, but ultimately I would like to master a skill that would tax me more mentally than physically as I get older. Because I'm thinking like, I've been doing this for decades, so I don't want to end up being physically impaired because I can't do it. But as opposed to, if I'm just working with coding and stuff like that, all I really would need is, partly mobility in my hands and talking, communicate with people, all that. I'll see brain functionality, but compared to if I'm working in a trade or a physical job, your body, you need all your body. You need to have good joints. You need to have a good body good body composure, or else you're gonna start feeling it. And I don't want to be in the case where I might mess up something later on. Then because I'm doing this physical taxing work, I'm grinding that down to certain injuries, stuff like that overall. And of course, that I'm speaking on anxious terms, like, oh, like just maybe this will happen. But I already have been in physical work for a long time, so I just want to get out of it. I think it's time for a good change, because that world is alien to me, like the corporate world. Like it's something that I've done at all, really. So it would be really different for me. So that's the plan. I want to learn a skill, and that would be software development. Maybe I can transfer that to cybersecurity, whatever. I guess more so just focused on getting a solid skill set in order to continue that. In order to hone in on a skill and then make that my thing, because I think if I learn that, I can learn how to make apps, games. I always felt like I could make games, so it would be pretty cool to learn how to develop games and make a style out of that, and then I don't know, potentially develop a whole thing for it. But yeah, I think I like that. I think that would be cool. So that's where I'm at, and I think going forward, I really want to focus on that instead of trying to. I think I get distracted by things. Sorry, I literally was distracted right now, but I do get distracted by things, and then it's like, oh, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do this, or it almost feels like it's like this new thing coming out, and I'm like, oh, I can do this instead, and it bogs me down, and then I'm like, oh, I should be doing this instead, or whatever, or I get that in my head, and I think it just distracted me. Not that those aren't valid. What the heck? Not that they aren't valid ideas. So I'm not saying that everything else is neglectful or just not good. But for me, I already have something going on, and I want to focus on that. Darn it. So first, grind it out with one thing, and then see how that goes. If I don't like it, then back to the drawing board. But the thing I always see with some people at work is that they're just like acceptable of where they're at. Like that's as far as they go. They don't want to learn a skill. They don't want to do anything else. And that's how I was too. And it doesn't mean that everyone should be actively learning something else, because you may be already really busy as it is. But to me, I've already had my kid. Already been through the toughest part that I would say would be with my kid, in terms of physically being awake and being there for him, having to feed him and every single, clean and bathe him, feed him, whatever. So I already kind of know how far I can go when it comes to my physical efforts. So I'm like, why not push myself a little further, let things be more relaxed, and see what I can do. And this is me doing YouTube, and I'm like, okay, well, I can do YouTube and put this amount of effort into it, and then focus on my skill set for the rest of the remainder of the day, right? Because I'm gonna go home and we're gonna homework, and then on the side, I also work on more coding outside of my own outside of school. So, yeah, I think to really get out of the same results of everyone else, you gotta push yourself further. And then once you get into another circle of people, of whatever it would be, it's like, okay, how much can you do there? And what's the name of the game? And then you go past that again, and then you keep going up. And you don't always have to go up. You can go side to side, right? I'm thinking like circles of, I wouldn't even say success, because it isn't just pure success, but circles of lifestyles, circles of what who you are. And I think you can really branch out if you try. But again, this is me actively trying something new, trying to do something else, and sticking to it, like YouTube. But of course, people that want to live a lifestyle, because I said lifestyle, not circles of success, a circle of lifestyle that would be more purely family oriented, like going home and being there, like, yeah, that's fine too. Or just being single, or being a couple with no kids, that's also acceptable. You know, it's perfectly fine too, because that's your life. You want to do that, you want to do that your whole life, that's fine. That's all, you know, ultimately I think you should be happy how you want to do things. Does that mean you don't want to have kids? Okay. I also think there's social inclinations that make people feel a certain way, like, oh, I have to be doing this, I have to be getting this far, I have to be, you know, my friends are doing this. His friends, his friends all the way down the line started with getting a house, and then that friend's like, oh, I'm behind, let me get a house, and then some other friends from that person, him or her, are like, oh, he already got a house at this age, I should be doing that right now too, and then so on and so forth. You get the gist. So I think it just kind of like creates this wave of like expectations where it's like, oh, I should have done that already. My mom said that my friend's mom, their kids already have houses or are married. It's like all these things are just like saying like, oh, this is what we gotta do, this is the route you take it. And then, but I don't think, the thing is, I feel like they talk about what you should do, but they don't tell you what's gonna happen. They don't say like, oh, well, you're gonna do all this, but they don't tell you, but what's gonna happen is, you know, you're gonna be working your whole life. And I'm not saying you don't have to be working your whole life, but you should. I'm just saying, like, it's like, oh, you do this, you get the house, you get the kids, you get the family, you get the college degree, and then you get the house, and then you work your 9 to 5 until you're 65. So I'm like, you know, that could work, but I think you should be more open to like, okay, well, you gotta figure it out. Like, you gotta be. I think something I always think about, a term I think of a lot when it comes to survival and exceeding, is survival of the fittest, right? So you gotta be pretty sharp. You gotta push yourself. And I'm only expressing that you compare yourself to only yourself, not to somebody else, just yourself, because it would be a paradox for me to say, oh, you know, social inclinations or whatever, but compare yourself to somebody else. It's like, no, I'm saying compare yourself to yourself, because nobody knows what's going on in your life, and you don't know what's going on in somebody else's life, and that's very specific to any such detail, like, you know, between your spouse, between dad, or problems you're going through. So you don't know what's going on. But anyways, that's the point of what I'm trying to say, is only compare yourself to yourself. So if you feel like you've done better, you've mentally grown since last year, good. That's good, because that's where you should be. It shouldn't be a case where you have to steadily get better at being yourself. You just gotta know you have to know yourself. That way you know what's wrong and right, and you're not thinking about that later in your life and being like, well, that wasn't true to me, so that sucks. But in the case, it should be, I was true to myself. This is what happened. I tried it. That was that. And then I would say you feel better about it, instead of saying what if. You say, oh, I did it, but it didn't work out. Okay, now you're there. So yeah, I think a lot of rambling went on right now, but yeah. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I want to open these windows up because it is starting to get hot again. So I will see you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. Peace out.